Everything Goes Sunday, where I play whatever I'm in the mood for. I am in the mood for playing the same game I played last week. So last week I started a new campaign with Civilization 6. It's a game that I really do enjoy as my unwind strategy game. It's not too difficult in terms of the strategy side of things. It's not too complex in terms of the interface, and it's just a game that I can always pick up and really get a kick out of. So I started to stream that, and I will continue to do so this week. I'm possibly not going to play all the way through a single campaign because that would take forever, and I might be in the mood for something else within a couple of weeks, at least as far as the stream goes. But yes, I will give people a chance to jump on before we get going, as I always do, and then we'll start to play. We'll catch up on what we were doing last week and where things are at with the campaign, and we'll get going. Hello, welcome to the stream. Thanks for jumping on. Um, just going to give people another moment or two to jump on as well. Other people who might be interested in watching. Okay, so you may have remembered if you were on the stream last week, we started to play as the Mongolian race, which I haven't done on Civilization 6 on the PlayStation 4 yet, so I wanted to challenge myself with them. And being the Mongol, they're obviously a fairly military-focused organization, and it's pretty important to build up armies and make sure you enforce your power that way. Um, After setting up, because like with all civilization games, you start with just a single settler to build a single city. I've since built a second city, so my empire currently, as it stands, is 2 cities large, and I'm about to go into war with the Spanish. Now, the reason I'm going to war with the Spanish is that Spain, as a faction, are quite focused on the religion side of things, and the way I play Civilization, religious-based uh, nations are particularly difficult because I don't focus too much on the religion side of things. They can get very dominant over my own culture quite quickly if I let them go unchecked. So while I've also met the Swedish faction culture and another one, I can't remember who it is at this stage, they're not so much of a concern to me because they are the way that those factions kind of play the game, the way that the AI plays it, they're not so much of a threat to me. But the Spanish, if I leave them to go, are going to be a big problem. So I'm going to deal with them military wise this stream, I hope. So I'm currently building some horsemen up so I can complete this attack. I've also surrounded the Spanish nation with a couple of my units. I've got a warrior unit there, as well as an archer unit and a unit of pikemen. So I'm getting close to being able to start this war. Yes, because they are the Spanish. No other reason needed. Okay, that's fine. I'll save the explanations then for next time. All right. So where was I? I finished the stream last week at the end of my turn, so I'll need to let it cycle forwards. Here we go. Now, one of the interesting things about the Spanish, they were having the biggest trouble with barbarian hordes coming coming at them from over here last game, and it seems to be still persisting since those red icons there on the left or the right It's early on a Sunday morning. Those three red icons there on the right, they're all barbarian units. So that's been useful for keeping the Spanish a little bit under check. Um, I'm not even sure where that friendly tribe is. Good morning, Christian. Thank you for joining us. Um, Not too much to watch right now. I'm mostly just waiting for. Oh, there's a big storm there. Two tornadoes. That's a dangerous one. Um, I'm mostly just holding position at the moment because I'm waiting for my unit of horsemen to be finished. Horsemen being the Mongolians. The horsemen are particularly powerful, and I do want to use them, have them ready before I actually go under to do this attack. Um, I think I'll just have my warriors stay there. And that's the end of my turn. No, I've got them exactly where I want them. At the moment, I'm just... Oh, there goes the tornado down towards my territory. That's not what I wanted. It would have been nice if the tornadoes went up this way, but no. They've gone down here, haven't they? Just holding. So the good thing is the barbarians are all attacking the the Spanish forces, and they're leaving my little warrior unit there alone, which is good. Let's keep that up. Oh, that was the other group I met, the Zulu. Let's trade with them. They'll give me 30 bucks. No, actually, they'll only give me one gold for 30 turns, but they'll having a good relationship with them will be fine. So let's do that. Oh, the tornadoes moved on. Didn't damage my territories this time, which is good. Thank you for that. I will have my horse unit in 5 turns, which is fine. Just 5 more turns and things will start getting more interesting. Whoops. Ah, they're finally attacking me. That's no good. They've run out of Spanish units to fight, so the barbarians have decided to attack my units. Let's deal with them. So the Swedish wish to send a delegation to um, my people, which is good. They want to be diplomatic. That's fine. They're all going to get very annoyed with me when I attack the Spanish anyway, but trying to keep as friendly as possible relations with the other factions. Oh, and now the Spanish want to do a deal with me too. I got to give them 20 of my horses in return for 2 gold for 30 turns. No thanks. I'm not giving you my horses. That's my precious resource. Okay, I'm going to sound very ignorant right now, but what even is that? Is it good? I can't even pronounce it. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. Oh, cool. Forgot about that. I have a chariot as well. Excellent. Oh, that sounds good. So that's not my horse unit. Um, that's another thing I didn't even realize I had in the way. I think I got injured and then I was healing it by resting it in the city. So it's back in action now. Those Spanish aren't going to know what hit them. Ooh. I'm probably going to lose that warriors unit, unfortunately. Oh, hang on. Oh no, it's right. I read that wrong. Forget what I was. So the world has entered the classical era. The ancient era is done. I am. All that means is that things get a little bit more complex, I guess. And I get to make one dedication, which I can use to improve one area of my um, my nation. I can improve something that they do. Um, what I will do is focus on culture. I might be invading the Spanish this era, but I'm going to make some great plays about it. So let's focus on that. Okay, so what have I got to build? I still need to build a monument there. That's important. Adds culture to my nation. Culture gives you a series of unlocks. There's 2 sets of unlocks. For people who have played the older civilizations but not the newer ones, there are both scientific advancements as well as cultural advancement, and you need to focus on both of those. That's the end of that unit. So cultural advancements are more to do with the governments and those kinds of things, such as this one, military tradition. And through cultural advancements, you can add all of these national kind of policies which benefit your entire nation in one way or another. But I'm not going to deal with any of that just yet. Drama and poetry or a state workforce. Let's let's do state workforce. So the Zulu faction has finished Stonehenge, building Stonehenge, the Great Wonder. Good on them. I'm actually playing a lot of Civilization at the moment. I also got a emulation handheld console thing the other day, and it's enough to run PlayStation 1 games, and on that I have Civilization 2, which I maintain is my favorite Civilization of all time. I spent a lot of time playing that as a kid, and I've been dipping back into it, and it's good memories. I used to play that all night, have complete overnighters where I would completely lose track of time, and I did that for all weekend actually, and I just kept playing that game for over and over and over again for years. So yeah, it's been good going back to it. It holds up. It holds up. I maintain that Civilization 2 was, in so many ways, the best strategy game that has ever been made because it was so ahead of its time. Okay, so I've also now researched the scientific discovery of currency, which is good. I can build markets now, make more monies. I should probably deal with irrigation. That's a pretty important scientific advancement, and it's an old one. So I've also finished my horseman unit. I am now well and truly ready to attack these Spanish peoples now. Um, that there is the Mongolian unique building, the Ordu, and that is well worth investing in. What wonders have I got available? Nothing too exciting right now. So let's just focus on building the Ordu up. You can trust me, I know what I'm doing. I have horses. And as we know, because he tried to trade with me to get some, the Spanish leader does not. Someone's at war with city-states that are elsewhere in the world that I haven't met. Okay, so my trader, which I built in the last stream, that set up a trade route with Preslav, one of the city-states that are close to me. That has now finished, so I can actually reallocate that trade route. Which I will do so. Um, at this stage, it just makes sense to set up a trade route with Ulaanbaatar because I want the road between my two cities anyway, so I'll do that. And it's really close. Okay. My horsemen are on the scene. Oh, that's good. That's exciting. I've met yet another nation now. So I get to now deal with the Inca. I can't remember if I've actually had the Inca in any of my playthroughs. So the AI or the game randomly picks the other nations that populate the world, and there are a lot of them, especially if you have the expansions on in Civilization 6. There are dozens of them. So I don't think I've actually had a chance to play against the Inca as yet. I don't know what their focus is in terms of a civilization or what they like to deal with, so that's going to be fun. Um, okay, my pieces are all in place. I'm ready to start this attack. Let's do it. Let's just rip the band-aid off and deal with it. Yes, I'm doing them a favor by beating up the Spanish. Nobody likes the Spanish. I'm 99% sure that the forces I've got are enough. Hello, Mark. It's great to have you on. Yes, congratulations to everybody in New Zealand for your um, your country finally opening up a bit from the ravages of COVID. It's been horrible to see, but it's good to see that New Zealand has been so effective at dealing with it. Congratulations for that. You should all be very proud of your leader for that. I kind of wish I was actually playing as the Maori now. They're a great faction in this game. They were only added with the most recent expansion, and they're a really, really good faction. A lot of fun to play with a focus on environmentalism, actually. So the way you're meant to play is that with that faction is to preserve the world and make sure that there's not too much pollution that gets through in the later stages of the game. It's, it was a really good addition. They haven't been, like I said, they haven't been actually in the game in the past. So anyway, that's for another stream. I think I'll capture this city first. Yeah, I don't see why not. Let's make friendly with the Inca. So the good thing seems to be that the Spanish had no close relationships with any of the city-states, which is a good thing because if they do, then the city-state will also declare war on you, which can be a little bit overwhelming. That hasn't happened, so it looks like I just have to deal with the Spanish by themselves. Um, First, I'll get rid of this archer unit. In the meantime, I finished a monument back in Ulaanbaatar, which is great. Let's build a commercial hub this time because that gives me monies and lets me build additional trade routes and things. I will build that. Where's a good place to... I'm going to build that on the coast. I'm going to have to... There we go. No, that's not. They wouldn't do that. But if you leave a unit of healthy archers sitting there, they're just going to pepper your units with arrows. And actually, archers are pretty damaging, so I had to deal with them first. Um, Here we go. Oh, Spanish is sending a chariot at me. That's all right. Can fight fire with fire there.
Thousands have lived without love, not one without water.
Excellent. So I got a technology which is pretty necessary. Not the most exciting, but while I'm on that trend, I better do masonry as well. Without masonry, there's a lot of stuff you can't do down the track. So I don't know if anybody's seen, if you haven't played a Civilization game before, I do recommend going and checking out the science map trees. There are a lot of scientific discoveries to make, and the web that is involved is quite intricate. So there's a lot of stuff that you won't be able to unlock unless you've unlocked other technologies. And yeah, I actually used to play with a big laminated poster of all of the science unlocks hanging on my wall back when I was playing Civilization 2, just to keep an eye on things. And it's only become more complex since. So that being said, Civilization 6 does do a good job of showing you the trees if you want to delve into that through the menus. You don't need to print out things anymore, save paper. Um, okay, so let's start. Just soften them up a little bit with the archers first, and then send in the spearmen. It was probably Civilization 2 because the box came with a huge poster which had all of that stuff on it. Um, I think it was standard in all the boxes, so that's probably it. Look at the amount of damage my horsemen do to the city. So I will have that captured in the next turn. I haven't even had to use my chariot yet. I'll use the chariot just to annoy him. I'll loot his trade. I'll loot his trader, plunder the trade route. Gives me money. Very handy. I kind of feel bad because it's terrible to have your trade routes plundered. They're a lot of effort, but at the same time, I am at war, so I need to do what I need to do. Um, what should I do? Okay, so the archers will do some damage to the heavy chariots. I don't think that no, that won't. But I'm pretty sure my horsemen will be enough to capture that. Yep, there we go. So part one of my takeover is complete. Unfortunately, that big glowing fist, the revolution fist there, means that if I don't do things fast to bring Seville back into, or to bring them into my nation, they're going to rebel and declare independence anyway. So I need to press on with this attack, and I need to deal with the areas of influence over Seville which are causing the population to dislike me, and that basically means I need to deal with Madrid and whatever city he's built up here, because he's got another city there that I just can't see right now. I do have a little bit of time to do so, I think. I'll check that in a second. I'll keep the city. I went to all the effort to capture it. I might as well keep it. I will set them the task of healing because I'm going to need them again soon. Well, the Spanish did not do a very good job of looking after Seville. It was a city of a population of 2 or something, and they hadn't even built a granary yet, so that's no good. They're going to be much happier under the Mongol rule. How do I check how long it is before they rebel? I can't remember. Anyway, it's not an issue right now.
It is equally important to have a happy and engaged workforce as it is to have a profitable bottom line.
So state workforce allows me to focus my energies on building ancient and classical wonders if I want to, which I don't at the moment. That's not my strategy, but it's a useful cultural advancement to have anyway, for obvious reasons. Um, okay, there we go. That's the one I really wanted to develop. So political philosophy allows me to upgrade my government to something beyond a despot. At the moment, I'm just the lowest level of government possible. This one gives me some basic kind of classical republic, oligarchy, autocracy, so the basic kind of government options, which are pretty important, which for reasons that we'll see soon enough. And I've also unlocked a new governor, which is great. I will focus on this one because he helps me build my cities quicker. And I'm going to put him in Seville because that will actually help stabilize the population. Having a governor in the city actually helps to calm them down. And again, I want to do that as quickly as possible. So we need to deal with this chariot now. Alright, so that was a pretty important unit for the Spanish, I imagine, based on where their resources are at. So I have well and truly have advantage here, which is obviously what I wanted. That's a blessing. Yes, so there are volcanoes in Civilization with the later expansions. When they erupt, they do a lot of damage if you happen to have a city or or any kind of improvements around it. Last time I played as the Japanese, and I built a seaside resort right next to a volcano, and the volcano erupted and completely destroyed my seaside resort, which I could just imagine the screams of pain. It was horrible. Yes, yes. It's actually a really good feature. So yeah, it was added with the last expansion, and there's floods, there's tornadoes, there's hurricanes, there's later on in the game there's rising sea levels. So I'm going to have to be careful about that for obvious reasons. And well, it, I don't think I don't think it has earthquakes. I think that's one thing that's missing. But there's a lot of nature to deal with this time around, and it can do a lot of damage. Okay, so I'm just going to heal all of my units before attacking further. Bushfires? No, not bushfires, funnily enough. Even though you can play as both the Australian and New Zealand, um, which are the most famous countries, I guess, for bushfires. Yeah, there aren't bushfires. Okay, so now I've got the question. Now that my unit's getting close to being healed, do I try and deal with his capital, or do I go up and capture that small city up there, whichever that is? I'm thinking it's probably we might as well rip the band-aid off and deal with the capital. It'd be nice to have Madrid in my nation anyway. And I think Madrid's putting an awful lot of downward pressure on the morale of the people of Seville. Alright, let's do it. Let's capture us some Madrid. Oh, sorry, that was my turn. I thought I pressed the button to move the turn on. Um, okay, so I'm at the point now where I actually have a bit of faith going in through my culture, so I need to choose a pantheon belief, which just basically means benefits for my nation. I always choose one that doesn't really rely on having a lot of faith in the country because, once again, don't do a whole lot when it comes to religion in this game. Um, that's a good one for me. So, Goddess of the Hunt, if I choose to believe that as the head of my pantheon, that gives me +1 food and +1 production from camps. And I've already built one camp, so benefits immediately from doing that. Let's do that. There we go. So I haven't been able to found a religion just yet, but I'm on the way. Um, the one good thing about playing the religious game, and once again, I really don't focus on that. If you look at the little icons at the top, I've got +14.4 science coming in every turn, +8.2 culture, only +2.6 faith. That's my least focus. But it is fun to found a religion. I call it Mikuism every time. And there's like a green butterfly, which it's the perfect symbol for Mikuism. And then I get to spread Mikuism around the world, and it's pretty funny actually. Okay, so back on focus. What am I doing? Need to move the turn on. Okay, finally, after all of that, after that confusion on my end, the turn is moving on. There we go. I just needed to highlight it. So Seville, if I don't do something, Seville is going to rebel in just 6 turns, I believe. 5 more turns, and Seville is going to rebel. Luckily, I do have the governor coming along, and he'll calm things down and give me just enough time, hopefully, to capture Madrid. Oh, enemy archer unit. Let's deal with them. Those still need to heal. I don't know why I can't shoot. Oh, that's right, because I've got units in the way. Can't shoot over them. That's alright. So he's going to retreat at his archers. Oh, so now the Inca want to send a delegation to me as well. It's funny because actually, usually when you're at war with another nation, they don't send delegations and they tend to be annoyed with you, especially if you're the one that actually caused the war. But the Inca seem to not be phased whatsoever with what I'm doing to the Spanish. So looks like you were right, that they actually do appreciate what I'm doing for them. So there we go. I'll make friendly with them. Yeah, exactly like you said. I'm doing the Inca a favor, so okay. So unfortunately, they got a little bit too injured from being attacked by the archers, so I need to retreat them back into my own territory to heal. Oh, I finally built the Ordu, the Mongol national building, which gives me a huge boost to my era score, which is great. And I've now established the governor in Seville, which hopefully now will calm them down a bit, give me a little bit longer before they'll go into open rebellion. I hope. I'm going to want to build another horseman unit right now, I think. So I'm going to do that.
Each of us is carving a stone, erecting a column, or cutting a piece of.
Okay.
Each of us is carving a stone.
No, unfortunately, I wasn't able to survive to save Seville from being to going rebel on me. So they have. That's a pity. Now I'm going to have to be dealing with them. So they're going to be aggressive, but that's alright. I better retreat my archers out of the way of things that are going to kill me. I'm still going to deal with Madrid first, I think. Then I'll go back. I'll cycle back. The good thing is that Seville, when they rebel, they get some military units, but because that wasn't much of a city, it only had a unit of warriors to deal with, so they'll be fine. My biggest concern is actually the Spanish sending some units from whatever that city is there down to recapture. But hopefully, I mean, it's not going to be long before I've captured Madrid anyway, so. Oh, goody, my archer unit is actually available for promotion. I didn't realize that. I can't do it now because I moved them, but that'll get them some health back, which I need, because otherwise it'll take me forever for them to recover. Um, all right. So what science will I build? I'll do ironworking now. Another a military discovery, but it gives me access to legions. So we'll start to get pretty powerful foot soldiers at that point. Ooh, my chariot's struggling now. So let's level them up. Um, good. Let's ah, don't destroy it. Ooh, it survived. It's got no health left, but my chariot survived. And just like that, the great city of Madrid becomes mine. Oh, that must not have been a Spanish city up there. I thought it was, but I've just defeated Philip. Spain will not stand the test of time. They're done. Excellent. And it looks like Madrid is not at any risk of rebelling. So now I can go and recapture Seville, and I'll have a nation of 4 cities at that point. Good on me. Let's keep it. Better heal the chariot up. See, the Spanish did a really good job, a really poor job of managing their city. I mean, they didn't even build a monument or granary in in Madrid. Let's spend big and just buy the granary outright, because that'll help get my city under control and going quickly. Um, I'll also start to build a monument straight away. Just get the basic buildings out of the way. Oops. Okay, so actually defeating the Spanish has upset the Swedish. I'm sorry. Don't go to war with me, please. I don't want to have to fight you as well. Oops. They're all very upset with me now. I did you all a favor. You just didn't know it yet. Okay. So there are consequences to just going and capturing stuff. Um, but that's okay. They'll get over it. They will. Alright, so now I need to go through the process of starting to make friendly with the people I've pissed off. That's expensive. I have to give them 30 horses in return for basically nothing. But given that they're in a mood with me, um, I will accept that deal because that does start to mitigate some of the damage I've done to the relationship. There we go. Another unit of horsemen. Okay, so now is a good time to start thinking about building a wonder for one of my cities because I have more cities now and I can start to focus on a broader range of things. What I will do is we'll build. So the red ones I haven't got access to because I don't meet the requirements for. But Hanging Gardens is nice and cheap. It's only 18 turns to build. It does give me some benefits. So let's build one. Let's build it just there. That's not much great. That's not very good quality land anyway. Um, so my horsemen actually leveled up ages ago, but I didn't have a chance to. If you level them up, then they lose their turn. I needed to use them for fighting stuff. So anyway, I've leveled them up now, which is great. Everything else is recovering. I'm going to go and recapture Seville with my horsemen anyway. That'll be enough. It's not a very powerful city right now. And Madrid is no longer burning, so it is now comfortably part of my nation. It's a nice little location too. Look at that. They've got a lake all to themselves. That's a big lake. Okay, so now I've got political history unlocked, political philosophy unlocked, which finally gives me the option of some new governments. So I can choose to set up a oligarchy, an autocracy, or a classical republic. And as you can see, there are actually quite a few government options that come throughout the eras. I will a dictatorship. That's exactly what it is. Um, to be honest, as much as I'm going for a military victory, having a classical republic is too good a benefit to ignore because it gives me additional housing, which means my cities can grow larger, and the extra amenity is really useful because amenity makes people happy, and they'll be less likely to rebel. Um, so in doing that, I now have a proper government. And as you can see, now I can't have a military policy there, but I can have two city policies. And I will take on this one, which gives me additional gold for trade routes. So I've only got one now, but I'm planning on building quite a few more. So I can have two of those. Oops. Oh no, what have I done? Okay. I can have one green, a diplomatic policy. I will take this one on, which helps build my relationships up with the city-states. And then this bottom one there is actually a wild card, so it can be anyone that I want. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start building these purple ones, which give me additional points towards great leaders. I want to have a great general. So those points are at certain points you'll if you're the first nation to unlock it or to reach a number of points, then a great whatever, great scientist, great general, great artist will join your culture, and that's a huge benefit in whatever way they're specialists at. And we'll see that soon enough when I unlock one. Each great general, great leader has a different ability that they add to your nation. Okay, so let's go recapture Seville. That all flooded there, as you can see, all the flood damage. Let's games and recreational drama and poetry. Well, I do like the culture, so let's do drama and poetry. Let's unlock that next. No one needs games anyway. So I'm going to send the archers to go and fortify within Madrid. Archers are really good at defending cities, and I do want to protect them. Yes, that's exactly right. Games were a huge mistake. Um, let's do this. Commercial hubs finished there, which is lovely. If I build a market, that's where I'll get another trade route, so I'll build that next. Ulaanbaatar can be my city of capitalism. So they're so annoyed with me, they're just demanding that I give them money every turn. But let's do it. I'm not in any position to go to war yet again just yet. Okay, so the archers are now fortified in the city. They're healing. And just like that, I have recaptured Seville. And now it's not going to rebel, so they know better this time. Oh, so the Spanish did have another city, Barcelona, but I think when Seville rebelled, so too did Barcelona. So I can go and capture Barcelona now as well. Now that little green icon that you're seeing there is the influence of religion on the city. So, oh no, so that's a rebellion. I thought that was the indication of a religion. I'm pretty sure it is. Um, they might rebel because of the religion, the influence of the religion. Anyway, if that being the case, if it looks like the Swedish are building a solid case about religion, I might have to deal with the Swedish next as well. Oh well. Keep city, and let's get back to doing them the favour they need, the granary. Anyhow, it's starting to look good, this little empire I've got going. It's split in two. I need to build a city in the middle to link them up, but we're off to a good start now. Alright, let's go capture us. Another rebellious city. I did say at the very start of the stream I was going to have to play with a heavy military focus because that's what the Mongols are good at doing, so I swear I'm not that bloodthirsty. Oh! Uh-oh. Hungary's joined. I'm 99% sure Hungary is also a very religious focused civilization, so... Ah, it was. So, okay, now I can explain what happened. Because of the influence of the religion of the nation, which was the Swedish, Barcelona, which had rebelled from the Spanish, then went and rebelled again and has actually joined. Actually, sorry, Barcelona, which had rebelled against the Spanish, has now rebelled again and joined the. I think that is actually the Hungarians. So Barcelona is now a Hungarian city and right on my borders. So there's going to be conflict there. Definitely going to be conflict. But before I do that, I'm going to need to just settle things down for a moment or two. Just give myself a couple of turns to recover. Because amongst other things, I'm now earning no money whatsoever. I've been giving it away to make peace with all the other nations. And some of my key units are still injured, so let's leave them on the border there. Just to guard against what might come out that way. Well, I mean, he is going to send me Pepper Crash, so let's make friends with him for now. There we go. I can now build swordsmen, as in legions.
Sword made is all out of
Very
date.
useful classical era melee units.
I forged some of this.
And now I can go back to focusing on something which is not quite as aggressive. What I'm actually going to do is build celestial navigation so I can start to build up a fleet of ships. Honestly, you should absolutely give this a go, Christian, because once you start playing this game is really endless. It just it offers so much, and it's really really good stuff. Oh, good. So I can promote my chariot now. My army's becoming veterans. I'll fortify the spearmen in the city for now because I need to protect my city. Yes, it has been around on the Switch for quite a while, so it's and you can actually get all the expansions on the Switch as well now. The most recent one, which brings the natural events, which you've been seeing, as well as factions like the Maori and I think Korea was added with the most recent one as well. So that all of that stuff is now available on Switch as well. It looks good too. It's slightly less high quality visuals compared to the PS4, which is the version I'm playing here, obviously. But it holds up. It looks great, and you can play it on the go. Such is the times we live in. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. It should be cheap. It's not. I mean, it's been around for quite a while now, especially on the Switch. I think it was released 3 years ago. It was actually released on the Switch before the PS4, so it doesn't surprise me if you can get it quite cheap. Um, oh, now that's useful. Plus 10 strength against fortified defenders. That means when I'm attacking cities, the chariot becomes all the more useful. Let's do that because I am expecting to attack, I guess, the Hungarians next. I want Barcelona in my empire. Um, okay, let's take this opportunity. We have envoys. Let's make friendly with Hattusa. Excellent. So now they've joined my empire. Well, not as a city of mine, but they've become a very close ally. And if anybody attacks me, they'll come to my defense. And that's actually a strategically useful city-state to have on my side. So very happy about that. What I will do is once one of these two cities, which is going to be finished building something quicker, once I finish building the Hanging Gardens, which happens in 6 turns for me, I'm going to then build a settler and build a city in this part here because, yeah, that seems like the logical next place to build a city. Um, uh, Go away, barbarians. Um, that's a good question. I don't think it does. I haven't tried, I don't think. I don't think it does. I don't think it has touchscreen controls. It's not a big deal because this game does play really well just off the controller. But yeah, I don't think it has touchscreen controls. That is a remarkable place to put a city. It's completely surrounded by mountains and ocean, and that's it. That's a lovely place to put a city. Hard to attack, hard to defend. Okay, so another unmet player has finished the Temple of Artemis. So everybody is now building the wonders. So I do need to get him bored with that, which I am. It's got a very good. It's got a very Saint Helena vibe. Very isolated, very remote. um, can't build too big. Can't have too many people living there. That's a paradise. What was I doing? There we go. And no, that's a pity. So the Hungarians beat me to building the Hanging Gardens. I'm gonna. That's it. That's reason enough to go to war with these guys. They've actually gone and beat me to Hanging Gardens, bastards. So now I have to build something else. Yep. Luckily, that production, it's not lost. All that effort, I can put it towards something else. Um, there's neither of those are particularly inspired ones for what I'm doing. I'll build that. Let's try this again, shall we? At least it's not completely wasted. So I should pretty much guarantee myself that wonder because it was a pretty advanced one in terms of the amount of production you need to build it. And I got a head start on it, so try to look at the bright side here. Alright, more barbarians to deal with. Oh, this is good. So I'm about to get my first great person to join my nation. It is the Great General. So he by he adds +5. Go away. He adds +5 combat strength and +1 movement to classical and medieval era land units within 2 tiles. So that's actually particularly useful. And if I want to retire him, I can convert barbarian units to my side, which is actually pretty good as well. So here's the great general himself. I might as well move him up to the front lines. He's going to be very useful when I deal with Hungary. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Chaskinkin, Inkakuna urqukunaq kamachiqninmi chayqa. Rikuchiwankim, amautapunin kanki.
So the Inca are my friends again because the way I'm playing the game doesn't upset them. What I'm doing doesn't compete with their goals, so that's good. I'm going to demonstrate my ignorance here and say I don't know. um, Possibly. There are a lot of great people that this game depicts. A lot of them I don't know. So one of the great things about Civilization, and I've said this before in videos and reviews in the past, is it really does inspire me to go and learn things. I see names dropped, I see events happening, or I see wonders listed, and I can go and research and learn about them. Certainly, there are a lot of names that you'll find in the great people that you can learn a lot from playing this game, or at least be inspired to learn a lot. And military leaders are a blind spot for me in terms of the history I know, outside of the obvious ones like Japanese military leaders. So I will do research and find out and tell you next time. Okay, so another trade route has now been completed. I now have my two major cities linked up via roads. Next job would be to link up with my new cities. So I'll send this trader out towards Madrid. There we go, finally dealt with all the barbarians. Madrid has now finished its monument, so I can start to build other things here. Um, Actually, ancient walls makes sense. I'll put up a... I don't think there's much else that I can really build in a timely fashion anyway, other than maybe some military units. Ooh, battering ram could be useful if I deal with a lot of cities. Yes, I'm going to build a battering ram. That'll be a useful way to help knock down these city walls quicker. Once established trade routes, yes, they do assist. I think they provide an additional income to the city that has them in there. So you do want to build trade routes as many different places as possible.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players.
Excellent. I now have drama and poetry. Now I'll build games and recreation, I guess. Help keep the peoples happy, passive. Uh-oh. Well, there's going to be a clash. The Vikings have showed up. That's going to be a fun war, that is. Their navies against my cavalry. No, I can promise you the Vikings are not very peaceful at all. They're one of the ones that are very aggressive. Um, so I just finished building a market in Ulaanbaatar, so I can now build a second trade route, which is great. But first, I'm going to build a new settler because I really want to found another city. Yes, absolutely, and that's because no, that's built into the AI. If you want, you can choose which nations you want to play against. You can have the option of actually setting each of the AI down, which allows you to, if you want to play a purely military game, then you can just select the more militaristic civilizations. If you want to play one that's pretty peaceful, you can pick civilizations which are not very military inclined, but you can't adjust the AI. Okay, so I think on that note, the stream's been going for 90 minutes now, or close to, so we'll probably take a break here, simply because I think we're in a pretty good spot. Everything's nice and peaceful. I've finished dealing with the Spanish. I'm prepping now to take on Hungary, and that's going to make my empire big and huge, so we can look forward to that next week. Thanks very much for tuning into the stream, everybody. I hope that was interesting. And yeah, if you are playing Civilization, do let me know. Yes, time does fly. It actually did go by very quickly. If you are playing Civilization, do let me know how you're going in your own campaigns. If you watch back this stream later down the track. Thanks as always, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you in the next one. The next stream we're doing is going to be on Tuesday night, my time, where we look at retro games. I think we're going to play some more Dragon Quest monsters then. Okay, have a good weekend for the rest of the weekend, and we'll see you next time.